Tell us about how you guys got started and sort of the journey here.
Yeah, you're right. Our cap table is pretty impressive. We have some of the smartest and most capable and most successful people in freight behind our business. So that's a real privilege, and it's a great opportunity to be able to work with such an amazing team. And it gives us a lot of advantages. But the way the company started, and I think it's important, it's valuable to understand, is David Bell, who's very well known for his history starting lean staffing. Previously ran a carrier. He ran a freight company, and when he was a carrier, I think he thought to himself, "Wow, how much better could I do this if I had more of myself? If I could clone myself." And so that was really kind of the thesis behind the business, was how do we use artificial intelligence to create more copies of the human intelligence that we possess and the capabilities that we possess as individuals. And so it's a little bit of a different flavor on how to think about AI. And so we're really focused on how to power the human and how to make the human more efficient and make their experience better.
So if I think about the sort of what's happening with AI, and I think about the way David Bell made his money, which was building lean into a nearshoring call center effectively for logistics. I know a lot of IT development, but really the bread and butter was the call center. At least that's how most people knew it. Is this over time? Are we going to see CloneOps replace the lean model, where companies are going to look at CloneOps as a choice between nearshoring and AI? Is that where this ends up?
I think it could. I think there's still a lot that we don't know about how this is all going to be adopted, and where the use cases are going to be most effective. I do think that there will always be a need for humans to be in the loop. Or it's a relationship driven business. It's an important part of what we do, and so I think there will be a place for BPO and for human interactions. But I think some of the lower value transactions can be offloaded to automation, and so to some extent, there's probably a percentage of that workload that could be moved to autonomous interactions.
So when a company is engaging with you guys and brings you in to look at their roadmap and look at their solution set, where do you start?
So for us, we think about, like I mentioned, we think about the human connection and where we can power the people that are the stakeholders that are in the business. And so when you think about how to approach these things, I think a lot of people make the mistake of focusing on, what's my cost per load, what's my EBITDA, how do I drive those metrics? And to me, in my view, I think that's focusing on the wrong thing. I would be thinking about, who are my stakeholders, who am I serving, and how can I improve the experience that I have with them through the use of technology? How do I power that and make those interactions more efficient? When you're going about applying these things, how am I measuring what success looks like? What metrics am I using? So I like to say that I'm running an AI company, but BI is a big part of our roadmap. It's an important part of what we're doing. There's equally as much BI on our roadmap as there is AI, because it's important that we know that the metrics that we're chasing are actually improving in these businesses. And so I think about sort of directionally what I would be focused on, or what are the metrics I'm trying to move. Am I trying to move EBITDA? Yes. Am I trying to improve my cost per load as a 3PL? Yes. But are those the things that I should really focus on? I don't think so, because those are lagging indicators. Those are the results of focusing on good quality service, on-time delivery, execution. And so, I would advise people, as you're thinking about applying these tools, to be thinking about, what are those leading indicators? What are the things that, if you move, will result in better EBITDA, will result in lower cost per load? That will be a fallout of it. And try to block out some of the noise from your board or your CEO, who's really hammering on you, like, I got to have lower cost per load. I got to have that. The real focus is, how do I make brokers happier, so that the brokers, when they interact with customers, are winning more freight? How do I make sure that I'm delivering on time, so that my shippers are happy? How are my interactions with carriers improving, so that carriers want to be a part of my network? Those are the things that I think are really going to drive the true adoption. And that's at the core of all this. Like, we can build all the technology we want, but if the brokers and the stakeholders in the value chain don't buy into it, then it's all for nothing. Right?
I was having a conversation with Ryan Rogers, the silver fox in the background, just back there. Hey, Ryan. And one of the things that he brought up is that he's not, the folks that he's talking to as part of 10th Street and his company, are not typically asking for AI. But it's interesting because you and I are in a circle of a lot of executives. It's all that any executive, and I'm in media, obviously in logistics, touch logistics. That's all anyone on my world is talking about is AI. But it seems like the middle management, which I'm not suggesting Ryan only talks to middle management, but I'm sure that's a lot of his engagement.
Ryan talks to everybody.
He talks to everybody. But the question is, if it's only management that wants these things, and it's only executives, how do you get buy-in? Even in my own company, where we have media folks, and media is one of the obvious places where AI should be implemented, there's a lot of internal resistance to it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that speaks to kind of what I was saying at the beginning. You have to go in and address the operator. What's making your life difficult? How can I make your life better? How can I create more of you so that you have more time to do more of what you do? And so I think it's a big factor in it. If you come at it from the perspective of the executive, which is driving efficiency, driving everything top down, the people are not going to adopt it. They're not going to accept it, and they're going to resist it, which is even worse.
We started changing the tone to automation because we realized AI has this big scary word. We're a media company, so they read all the headlines, right?
Yeah.
And like AI is going to replace your job,
Right.
but the word automation doesn't have the same level of shock, of concern. We also did a hackathon, and that was really effective to get buy-in to people could see those technologies and enablement thing.
Yeah.
What other recommendations do you have for companies?
Yeah, I mean, I think experiment. You're getting a lot of sound bites today. We've had a lot of great speakers. This is just a fantastic opportunity to get all these good insights. But if I can leave you with a sound bite, I would say start small but think big. I liked what Harish had to say about sort of the transformation effect of driving these technologies. It's not about automating the existing workflows. It's about really rethinking your business in light of the opportunity that this technology provides. That's a very different mindset, and I don't think it's how most people are thinking about it today. I think most people are thinking about it as a reaction to what's happening in the market. An overwhelming amount of sort of information radiating from the universe that I have to do AI today, and it's really important, and it drives efficiency, and it reduces costs, and it helps my EBITDA and all those things, and people are reacting to that. And so I think it's good to start. It's important to start and to move quickly, and as Elon Musk would say, move quickly and break things. And it's okay to experiment, and those are all good. Figure out where you're creating value, but measure value in the right ways. Make sure that you're focused on driving your NPS, on improving your carrier interactions, making the lives of drivers better, making your shippers happier through on-time service. And I think if you do that, you win. I think the EBITDA and the cost per load and all the other metrics that your board wants to hear about will get better on their own. It's a natural effect of focusing on service.
All right, so 5 years from now, we look back, 2030, what does the world look like in logistics?
I get asked this question a lot, and it's a hard question to answer because it's hard to know what 5 days from now is going to look like, let alone 5 years. It's moving so fast, and I think that's one of the great things about this event is that you all have the opportunity to come sort of indoctrinate yourself for a day, because everyone has a day job, and it's hard to think about these things all day. But when you do live in a space and you think about it all day, we're getting bombarded with like all new tools, all new information, all new thinking. It's almost difficult to imagine what it looks like. But I do think a couple of things. One, and you've heard this thematically throughout the day, I think that the reliance on structured data is going to go away, which has an effect on what tools we use to run the brokerage. And I think that then has a downstream effect on the models that we use to run a 3PL. So, years ago, there was a big shift. If you got north of $1 billion, you needed to move to the Chicago model to separate, for efficiency. You need to separate the role of the selling into the shipper and the selling to the carrier. I think with the evolution of these tools, that changes. I think the game changes a lot. I think that these capabilities drive us back in the direction of cradle to grave and allow the individual broker to really scale on their own without having to implement that model. So I could see a shift going back in that direction. But I think time will tell.
It's going to be awesome. Well, we're going to do this event next year. Everybody's invited back. We'd love to have you. We'll have to get a better venue as popular as AI is. So.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you for having
Yeah.
me.